Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're going to a really interesting place, like where music and culture meet mental well-being.
Oh, that sounds fascinating.
Yeah, it all started with this article, The Role of Music and Culture in Mental Well-Being, from this website, All for Music. They've got like an online music shop and tutorials and stuff.
Cool.
And you know what really caught my eye? All of these musicians are suddenly talking about their mental health.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Like, there's this artist, Leo, she calls her music, get this, bipolar pop.
Wow, she's really putting it out
Well,
there.
right, like, new hiding it.
It's definitely a change.
Hmm.
And the article actually says almost a third of musicians say they struggle with, mental well-being.
A third. Seriously, I had no idea it was that high. That's huge.
It is. It makes you think, this isn't just a few artists being open, it's a real issue, across the whole music industry.
Definitely. Like, what kind of pressures are they dealing with that we don't see?
Well, the article talks about touring all the time, constantly being on social media, that pressure to always, have the next hit song.
Makes sense. It's got to be tough.
Yeah, it's a lot to handle.
So is anyone doing anything to help these artists? Like, is there support?
There are some good things happening. The article talks about organizations like Music Minds Matter. They're all about mental health support for musicians.
Okay, what do they actually do?
Counseling, they run workshops. Sometimes they even help with finances.
That's good to hear. At least it seems like some people are taking it seriously.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction.
All right, now get this. The next part of our dive might seem totally random, but trust me, it connects. We're talking about Punam Krishan on Strictly Come Dancing. You know that show?
Oh yeah, I love it.
She was amazing, and she made history dancing to a Bollywood song.
Right. Bolde Chudian. It was so cool to see.
Totally. It was like a huge moment for representation.
I was just thinking that. Imagine all those South Asian kids watching her, seeing themselves on that stage.
So inspiring. But okay, I gotta admit, when I first saw this in our doubts, I was like, how does this relate to like musicians and mental health? But then I read the article and
They make a really cool connection, don't they?
seriously. So tell me, how do these things go together?
Well, they both show this bigger change happening. Like, we're becoming more okay with being vulnerable.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it's like, we're questioning what it even means to be successful.
Can you explain that a bit more? I'm not sure I'm following.
Sure. Think about the
Oh.
musicians we were talking about, like Leo. They're being honest about their struggles. They're not trying to be perfect.
It's like they're saying, hey, I'm a real person. I have problems too.
Exactly. And people connect with that realness.
And with Punam Krishan, it wasn't just about like how well she danced. It was that she was proudly representing her culture.
It was inspiring. And it shows a different way to make it, not just fame and money.
But isn't it risky for artists to be so open? I mean, couldn't that be used against them?
That's a good point. It's a fine line between being genuine and being exploited.
Right.
But at the same time, artists are choosing to tell their own stories, connecting with fans on a deeper level.
So they're taking control.
Exactly. And it seems to be working. Especially younger audiences, they really value that honesty, that awareness of mental health.
That makes sense. So we've got these positive stories, but the article also mentions some reader comments, and those get a little,
So complicated.
yeah, a little complicated.
Well, one person even connected Krishan's success with, those farmers getting threats over that political ad.
Oh, right.
It just shows how, cultural representation can be amazing, but it can also cause tension.
Yeah, it's not always simple. So while Christian's performance was a big step forward, it also shows we still have work to do.
Definitely. There are still barriers to break down, conversations to be had.
This is already so insightful, and I love how these two stories actually connect. Okay, on to the next point. How do these individual actions, like musicians being open, a dancer showcasing her culture, how do those lead to like a sense of community, especially around mental health?
It's pretty amazing, actually, how just like sharing your story can, make a difference.
So true.
When a musician talks about their struggles, it can give fans permission almost to do the same.
Yeah, it's like it makes it okay.
Right. And then you get these online communities where people can connect, support each other.
Oh, like online support groups, kind of.
Exactly. It's like a virtual space where, people who might have felt alone realize, hey, I'm not the only one dealing with this.
That's powerful. And they can share experiences, give advice, even find resources, right?
Exactly. The article even mentions specific things like online forums and support groups started by fans, inspired by these musicians.
That's so cool. It's like a ripple effect.
It is. And it's not just online either. Some music festivals and concerts are like incorporating mental health stuff, even having support on site.
That's awesome. So it's not just talk, there's actual action.
Right. And this whole community support thing ties back to what we were saying about redefining success.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, it's not just about individual achievement anymore. It's about creating a culture where, like, everyone supports each other's well-being.
I like that. It benefits everyone. Artists feel supported, fans feel empowered to take care of themselves.
Exactly. And the article goes even further, saying this could actually change how we view success, like as a society.
Whoa, hold on, really? Now that's a big claim.
It is. Think about it. We're constantly told, make money, be famous, achieve the dream. But what if, like, real success was more about inner peace, genuine connection, living a life that actually means something to you?
Okay, I'm starting to see it.
Mm.
These artists, by prioritizing their mental health, they're kind of modeling that shift, right?
They are. It's like they're saying, hey, my well-being matters more than churning out hits or chasing fame.
And that message could really resonate, especially now when everyone's so stressed, burned out.
It could. But let's be real. The entertainment industry, it's a business, right?
Mhm.
Can we really expect them to prioritize well-being over profit?
That's the million-dollar question.
Here's what gives me hope, though. Audiences are getting smarter. They want authenticity. They want to support artists who share their values.
So it's not just artists changing, it's audiences demanding change.
Exactly. It's a two-way street. And when you add in the growing awareness of mental health, it could really push things forward.
Okay, but what would that change actually look like? How would the industry operate differently if well-being was, like, truly prioritized?
Imagine artists not constantly pressured to, like, make new music or tour nonstop, contracts that include mental health stuff, access to therapy, time off for self-care.
That sounds amazing, but wouldn't that, hurt their profits?
It might require some adjustments, sure. But think about it. A healthy, supported artist is probably going to be more creative, more productive in the long run.
Makes sense. It's like investing in your employees, you get better results.
Exactly. And it's not just the artists themselves. It's about creating a culture where everyone talks about mental health, addresses it.
Okay, so we've got artists being more open, fans supporting each other, and maybe even a shift in how we define success. But where does mindfulness fit into all this? The article mentions it, but I'm not sure I get the connection.
Oh, that's a good point. Mindfulness is all about being present, paying attention to your thoughts and feelings without judging them.
Okay, got it.
And it connects to all this because, like, the more aware we are of ourselves, the less we buy into all that pressure to buy stuff, to always want more, more, more.
So instead of looking outward for validation, we find it within ourselves.
Exactly. And art can be a powerful tool for that. When we engage with art, any kind of art, it helps us slow down, pay attention, connect with our emotions.
It's like art gives us a break from all the chaos, the demands of, everyday life.
It does. It lets us tap into something deeper, something more meaningful. And as we become more mindful, we're more likely to demand change in those systems that cause burnout, anxiety, disconnection.
Okay, I see how it all fits together now. It's like this cultural shift is happening, driven by artists being open, fans supporting each other, and this growing awareness of mental health and mindfulness.
And it could change everything, not just the entertainment industry, but how our whole society views success, well-being, what truly matters.
This has been so eye-opening. But before we get carried away with all the good vibes, the article does warn about some potential downsides.
True. There's always the risk that, vulnerability, cultural representation, mindfulness, all that could be used by marketers, corporations, just to make money.
Right. Like using good causes to sell stuff.
Exactly. So we need to be careful, make sure these conversations stay authentic, driven by real values.
So how do we do that? How do we avoid falling for all the, woke washing or mindfulness washing?
I think it's about asking questions. Who benefits from this message? Is it genuine or just a marketing trick? Does it actually align with my own values?
So it's about being informed, aware, making conscious choices about what we support.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming these concepts, making sure they're used for good, not just profit.
Okay, that makes me feel a bit more grounded, but still hopeful. This deep dive has really shown me how much power art has to create positive change.
It has been a fascinating journey, hasn't it? And it just shows you everything's connected. Music, culture, mental well-being, even how we define success. It all ties together.
It really does. And before we wrap up, is there one final, thought-provoking question you'd like to leave our listener with? Something to really make them think about all we've discussed?
I do, actually. With everything we talked about, the vulnerability, the support, this whole idea of redefining success. It makes me wonder, like, how will all this change the future of art and entertainment?
Ooh, that's a good one.
And even more, how will it change your own relationship with art, how you experience it?
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. This whole deep dive has been amazing. Like, who knew we'd go from bipolar pop to like rethinking what success even means?
It is wild how it all connects, right?
Totally. But before we go, let's recap for our listeners. What are the big takeaways here?
Okay, so first off, vulnerability is a good thing,
Not a weakness.
right? Whether it's an artist sharing their mental health or someone like Punam Krishan being proud of her culture, that honesty, it connects with people.
It does. And those connections, that leads to our second takeaway, community, right?
Absolutely. When artists and fans come together, you get this incredible support system. It can really challenge how we think about things, encourage people to get help.
And lastly, we can't forget, art can change the world.
It can. It starts conversations, makes us question things, inspires us to be more inclusive, more caring.
So well said. As we, figure out this whole music, culture, well-being thing, let's remember to be mindful, to question things, and be open to new ways of seeing the world.
I love that. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.
See you all next time.